Oh! Oh, he did it! He did it! How's it going, everybody? So the title is obviously just dumb clickbait, but there have been a lot of discussions about Kyoshin's release date. I've seen the wildest speculations why he released the way he did and what Ubisoft's intentions are behind it and all that. And we obviously also have players saying he's perfectly balanced. That should tell you right away how bad the hero is if the main subreddit tells you no buffs are needed. Never mind these outrageous takes, I want to share some of my views here as well. So let's just answer the question I posed in the title: is Kyoshin fixable? Well, the answer is obviously yes, everything is fixable, strictly speaking. The question is rather how much effort does it take to pull the hero out of the dumpster? And that's also a point that I want to drive home. I've listed many, not even all, of Kyoshin's issues in the frame check video, so it might have gotten lost along the way. But Kyoshin's kit is not a lost cause. This character is held back by awful numbers. Very high recoveries, fast flows into his special stance being very long, slow flows I guess, the awful chain links that make him feel very clunky when you play him, the non-existent hitboxes which makes it extremely hard to teamfight with him. But the basic building blocks are there. We are not looking at a Jormungandr situation here. George needs a major overhaul to suddenly be a viable pick. It's not nearly that bad with Kyoshin. I don't claim that I know how fast changes can be implemented, but I'm pretty confident that we'll see it in the coming weeks. Whether we'll have a hotfix kind of situation similar to when Warmonger's feats were nerfed, well, I kind of doubt that. But at the moment, Kyoshin is being figured out by the player base, and within a week, the only real annoyance you will have is if you get multiples of him in the same team, and you're stuck in Fujin cuts a few times each fight. But his popularity will soon go down, and with that, his effectiveness. I guess that's a big word for a hero in that state. In the end, this doesn't change the fact though that he did release in this state. It's a new hero that rode in on a huge hype wave, but then fell absolutely flat. So let's look into some of these theories in the community why Ubisoft released him that way. The first one, they did it on purpose. They wanted a weak hero. It's also something you see when players give their perspective. Some prefer to have a weaker hero release because it's easier fighting them. While understandable from a casual player's perspective, considering they play an hour here and there, it's a pain if something gets released completely broken and overpowered. But the goal when it comes to hero balance should be to have as many viable heroes as possible. So it makes very little sense for Ubisoft to release a weak hero. Ask any person that does work. Just work. You do not work on something so you can work some more on it in the future. You don't create more work for yourself. You finish a project, revisit it if necessary, but ideally you would want to move on to something different that helps improve the overall product. You don't want to be stuck on something. The argument that they're scared of another Griffin like Backlash also came up quite often. This falls in the same vein here, given a possible explanation why they were extra cautious with the power of a newly released hero. It is a fair point. If you have a revolting player base, that's not a good look, and if it goes out of hand, you might even have bad publicity, which can result in less sales. But that's the bottom line: creating sales. More sales. We're now approaching a subject that I don't really want to touch. How much should game designers be involved when it comes to creating more revenue? They are designers, artists, and their job is not to sell their product. You have guys that went to business school for that. They are supposed to worry how to make more money. With live service games, the waters get muddied and designers are more and more involved and accountable, I guess, for how well a product sells. I have no idea how Ubisoft handles this, but I think it's quite the accusation if you say that a game developer lowered sales numbers on purpose. Because this is what ultimately happens when you release subpar heroes in For Honor. And on the other hand, it makes sense that absolutely broken heroes might make the cash flow. I'm sure the balance of this is discussed somewhere, or at least I hope it is. Bridging that gap is important. You shouldn't have a controller tell a designer how to do their job, and vice versa. But we shouldn't forget that Ubisoft is a business, and they're in the market of making money. Releasing bad products and allocating future resources to fix it seems like bad business to me. So no, I don't think Kyoshin was released bad on purpose. We do know that new heroes go through multiple iterations. They add moves, remove them, tune them and all that. Maybe they did try him with low recoveries, quick flows and all that, and he felt untouchable, so they went the safe route and simply misjudged it. Probably an honest mistake. Those do happen. They shouldn't, but they do. Oh well, we'll never know the actual reason. All we can do now is hope that we'll see changes soon. Because like I said before, the ultimate balance goal should be to have as many viable heroes as possible, and that does include Kyoshin. So let's just pretend we actually get all the fixes to his kit. Good recovery cancels with caster stance, shorter chain links, better hitboxes. One thing I really believe that's holding him back are the hitboxes. To be a team fighter, to anti-gank or whatever, you need proper hitboxes. Unless you can block stun multiple people around you, you will most likely never land any significant damage or even be able to semi-successfully stall. If every time you press a button, you open up a buffet of free damage for the gankers, then you might as well just stand there and let them perform the gank. Ubisoft can't be shy with those. We've seen how much they meant to Jeonhu, or now JJ that he's been elevated to meta pick. Strong team fighters are currently what's considered very strong. And just as hitboxes play a big role, so do feats. And Kyoshin doesn't quite make the cut here. His unique feats aren't necessarily bad, but they are very selfish feats. They pretty much only benefit him, not the team. The tier 4 is the exception here. Compare this to what is picked on JJ. Against all odds, an AoE damage buff. Inspire, another group buff. Soothing Mist, an AoE heal feat. And as tier 4, Phalanx or Fire Flask. I know we've all been asking for feat reworks for a long time now. I'm sure many of you watched streamers for the drops this week, and every single one has been moulding over Smoke Bomb. Kyoshin has it, but the rest of his alternate feats are also quite bad. He has no good tier 3 option, and none of the truly powerful tier 1s. And so far, we've only ever seen changes to a hero's feats if one has been removed. Blissful Rest, Thick Blood, Revenge Attacks. Never have we seen changes because a hero had ones that were too weak, which means he'll always be held back by the feat selection. Something similar, yet to a much lesser degree, is the fact that Kyoshin has no fast execution at the moment. I'll put the values on the screen and you can also check for yourself on the info hub. His only hope is a fast universal one. I doubt we'll see unique ones again anytime soon, or at all. Getting a quick execution off is important sometimes. Same as it is important to use a really long one if you're at like 980 points to force a permanent death. All in all, the hero has a good chance to be above average. I don't think he'll ever be considered a must pick or completely overpowered. I also don't really see him as a noob stomper, so even complaints from the more casual part of the community should soon die down. We can just hope that the buffs to his kit come soon and that they're enough to make him fun to play. Because right now it feels a little bit like suffering, especially if the opposing team decided to pick actual heroes. Let me know what you think is the most important aspect that needs fixing. For now, I hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.